Now it's time for one of the really highlights, is an external keynote from a company that has been really successful in deploying IoT services within their smart lawn care. And the company is Husqvarna, and the speakers are Lindqvist and Johan Rogö. But I think we will start with a movie first. So.
Right. So Husqvarna, a company that's quite obvious, very proud of our history. A history where we have been able to reshape ourselves to the present times and grasp opportunities, business opportunities that comes up. If we go back to the very start, the first manufacturing facility of Husqvarna was established in 1689. Doing military equipment for the Swedish army. And that lasted for several hundred years. But in the end of the 19th century, the contract with the Swedish crown came to an end. And then the company decided to branch out. And this was the start of a very innovative and ambitious period where, the result was a lot of new products coming out to the market. I think you recognize the sewing machine or kitchen equipment. And we also started the motorcycle era in the beginning of the 20th century. And the signum for Husqvarna is that we're trying to reuse skills and technologies within one area to create businesses in another. And a good example is the chainsaw. In the chainsaw, it was actually the motorcycle division that created a motor that was stronger and with a much lower noise than competition. So using skills in one area to create business in another. The birth of the robotic mower came in 1995 with a solar mower. So this is a mower that was powered by solar power only. And that's the predecessor of the Automower, which I guess some of you in the audience have, and that now maintain some 3 million lawns in the worldwide. The last years have been very exciting for us working with digital services and robotics. A Husqvarna robot can now maintain slopes that are as steep as black alpine pistes. You can create areas virtually, so you don't need any boundary wire in the ground. You can digitally set where the mowers are to run. And we also have products that can cover up to 60,000 square meters of grass. This year, we made a very interesting milestone from a technology perspective in the launch of a feature we call Automower Intelligent Mapping. And what's cool with this feature is that we moved part of the brain of the product to the cloud. So now they interact closely, the product and the cloud. And of course, the enabler for this is connectivity. Yeah, so I'm Johan Rogö.
And I'm Lindqvist, and we are from the product management team in Husqvarna that works with residential robotics. And today we will leave the past now, Johan. You love the past, but we will move forward to the present and the future. And we will talk about how a world of opportunities open up for us when we started with the connected products, but also how our journey took a turn when we shifted focus from having technology and features in the center to putting the consumer and the consumer experience in the center.
Yes. So our IoT journey for the Automower started in 2015 when we launched a service called Automower Connect. And with Automower Connect, it was launched as an accessory, so the user could buy a cellular connected communication board that was retrofitted to the product. And with this cellular connection, you could now control your mower, like start and park, and also monitor the status, see where it is. If it is stops with an error, you get a notification and see on a map where. So more or less having a great remote control of your mower in the mobile app. And this was quite a great convenience add-on to the product and was quite successful from start. So we decided to, in addition to have it as an accessory, include it directly in the products already from 2016 and onwards. And that was also when we started to collaborate closely with Telenor IoT, or Connection at that time, to provide us with embedded SIMs with global mobile subscription. So it's just fit in, can go anywhere in the world and work. The technology at this time was 2G and 3G. And later we switched to LTE-M with 2G fallback in 2020. But that's the technologies that we're using. So it's not very data heavy. It's quite little data that runs, but we really depend on a great coverage and continuous connection. Going forward, in a couple of years, we tried to expand the interfaces for the users to interact with our product, and also took some steps towards more Internet of Things, making the Automower supporting the integration platform IFTTT. And for you that don't know about IFTTT or IFT, it's a integration platform where products and services from different manufacturers can join and connect to each other. So by this, owner of a Gardena irrigation system could connect that to the Automower and make sure that the sprinklers didn't pop up during mowing, for example. And when doing this, we also added open APIs so that users can create their own home automation. But we started to feel that the value that we add is limited by the product. So we can't do much more than a product. It's about how to interact with the product or get access to the product. But that's what basically it. The user base grew. They were happy with the smart control or the remote control, but we were quite limited there.
So we shifted focus.
We shifted focus.
And this might not look like rocket science, but this was actually an important moment when we were at the whiteboard and started to think about, okay, what can we do? Because we need to shift focus. And we did this drawing. Our digital experience or our experience from Automower had been limited by the product. It's a remote control. But if we change the focus to putting the consumer and the lawn in center, what happens? And a lot of things happened from that up. at that time when we were standing there at the whiteboard, because we saw a whole new different things, the problems to solve and situations to solve and value to bring to our consumer. When we started to think about the consumer experience, what are their goals with using our products, what are their problems that we want to solve, and we didn't think so much about starting with the technology and the feature and then trying to think what can we use this for. So that was a milestone for us. And if we take IFT as an example, IFTTT, we go back.
Sorry.
We launched it, as Johan said. You could go to ift.com and you can create a connection from your mower to like Google Sheet. That was a popular one. I want the mower history to be collected in a Google Sheet. Okay, so that was. Some of our consumers did that because the tech savvy that like the statistics and understand what you can do with an integration platform, they did that. But the bulk of our consumers, they don't know that there is an integration platform called IFT. They don't think about that. If this happens in this service and this happens in my product, then this should happen. It's really cool that you can do it, but we didn't get our consumers to convert. So instead, we looked at the need and started listening to our consumers. What do they need? Well, consumers wanted their Automower to park automatically when it starts raining. Okay, well, we have connection to IFT. That's a good solution for that. It's a quick way for us to help our consumers with that. So we started working with IFT to integrate this into our app, where our consumers were, where they were using and already interacting with the product. And the consumers, they didn't have to think about this weather service. The forecast is saying it's going to rain, and then I connect it to the mower. They only had to say, yes, I want my mower to park when it starts raining. And when we launched that in the app, where the consumers were, made it really easy to understand the value of it, the amount of connected consumers grew larger, 10 times larger, and now it's 20 times larger. And we are getting more examples from our consumers where IFT is the solution, where our smart connection is the solution. But they're describing problems that we can solve with technology, and we get happy consumers because we're solving problems. Now you can switch. And a new strategy was formed out of this thinking, the consumer and the lawn in the center, and we call it Smart Lawn Care. And it has really become our North Star when we develop. Everything that we have in our backlog can be connected to this strategy and the consumer goals that it contains of. And that's what we have been working with now a couple of years to really turn that vision and let the rubber meet the road and give it to our consumer. So you can go the next. So we formed this hypothesis. We have a hypothesis for our strategy that we will serve these user goals. That's the number one, the consumer first. That's what we start with. What's the problem? What's the goal that you have as a consumer? So we will serve these user goals by offering these features, this technology, this solution. And then we will see these outcomes in consumer behavior, and it will also bring us the business outcomes that we expect to see. And for us, the most important thing is our consumers to have a close relationship with as many consumers as possible. So we have the hypothesis, and we will know we are right, that our hypothesis is right when we see these effects. And it's about increased amount of active consumers, increased consumer satisfaction, and increased consumer engagement. So this is what we are measured by. It's most important for Husqvarna. And it's not direct revenue through the digital experience or through the app. It's the consumers. So that's what we are working with.
Yes. And we have had a quite encouraging growth. So the figures or the graphs here to the right is the growth curves that we have had. And now reaching close to 1 million connected users. And what is even more encouraging is the retention we have, the active usage we have of our service. And as Linda said, when we try to give the digital experience being more alive, the users really came back more often. So we have 30% of the whole user base using the app on a daily basis during the peak season.
And we have to try to make this understandable for the organization and for our developers. What are we trying to do here? Because, yeah, we should have a remote control. That's core. That needs to work in order for anything else to be interesting. But we have made this metaphor to help us understand the journey that we're on. So if you think of Automower Connect was like a gym card. When you have a gym card, you have access to all the equipment you need in order to succeed with your goals for your health and for your training. It's like, here's your gym card, here's the gym, go in, knock yourself out, and good luck. And that's sort of what Automower, the mower and Automower Connect was. We have these great features, settings, you can adjust, you can fine-tune it if you figure it out. We were not really good at helping our consumers succeed. So that's the journey that we're on now, to make Automower Connect more like the personal trainer for your lawn, because our consumers they want help with succeeding, both with their Automower experience, the interaction with the product, but also with the lawn itself. So this simple metaphor has helped us convey the message of this vision and to make it real for our developers and for the organization. And we think it will be a benefit for our consumers as well. So this is where we are now. You've seen the journey from our first connected products and the value it brought, and also what we're focusing on now to make our consumers even more happy. But what's next? So we have 3 main themes of development where we see technology that will create new value to our consumers and possibilities in like 5, 10, 15 years. And the first one is your smart garden supervisor, your biodiversity guardian, and your sociable garden companion.
So starting with the smart garden supervisor. Well, we say that no 2 lawns are the same or serve the same purpose. They are all unique. And since our lawnmower spends so much time on the lawn, it's also very well suited to be the supervisor, to being able to determine the health both of your lawn, but also your garden as such. How's the health of your flowers? Do something need watering? And then eventually also automate this so it can water. Using a lot of sensor, both internally, but also externally, directly or indirectly.
So your mower will be more part of your, like a gardener for you, a smart gardener. And also that the mower is part of a community of other mowers, so that the whole community can benefit. Another thing is that your biodiversity guardian. So we at Husqvarna know that the green space or your garden is much more than the green space behind your house. It's part of your well-being, your relaxed time, and your community, and it's connected to the world at large. So actually up to half of the green spaces in a city contains of our gardens, our private gardens. So it matters what we do with the green space that we have when it comes to biodiversity. So we are driving innovation in this area, and we have smart solutions today where you can create stay-out zones to grow a meadow and to help pollinating insects with blossoming flowers and make that smart. But we see this becoming more and more important and automated in the future for your garden, but also in the community to where you live when the mowers share data. So we can promote biodiversity in our cities and in our countries. And the last part is our sociable garden companion.
Yeah.
Will you switch?
Oh, sorry. I thought we were going to the...
Personalized behavior. We have the pleasure of working with a product that has so much personality that it's become part of your family. We talked about it in the break here before. Some of you have automowers, and you name them, give them names, you talk to them, and you treat them like a pet. And we believe that the technology can bring more value here also, that this is important for our consumers. No garden is the same, and no person is the same. We have different preferences, so of course this needs to be adjusted to how you want it to be. But if you want the silent servant that does the job and then goes and rests and keeps in the background, of course that's the way it should be. But if you want this more interaction with the mower that we see your consumers are already having, where it comes up and greets you or is the life of your garden party, it should also be possible. So we see the mower becoming more and more aware about what's going on right now, so they can react to what's happening, like on this slide. Oh, the kids are home, I'll go to sleep and I continue tomorrow. So these 3 areas are where we are putting our innovation time a lot in right now.
Yep.
And so this is where we will end with a movie, but before we end, I want to give a reminder, we've heard it before today, that innovation is not for the sake of technology. It's what it brings to the consumer experience, making the consumer experience smarter, making it more intelligent for our consumers, bring more value to the consumers. Always keep the consumer in center of innovation. Now a film clip.
And now the film clip.
How's my garden doing?
It's great. Our biodiversity increased by 12% and I've watered the south corner. Oh, the kids are home. I'll go to sleep and continue tomorrow.
Thank you for sharing your fantastic success stories. We are proud to be part of it. I have 2 questions. One regards to the past and one to the future. Do you like the past, Johan, or
Yeah,
should I think? Now the question is to us, Linda. 800,000 connected lawn mowers. How is that even possible in quite short period of time? We have a lot of companies not managing get out from the proof of concept level. What can you tell them?
Well, it's because we are delivering a great consumer experience, and I believe that the focus that we have, putting the consumer first, so that you choose a Husqvarna and that you stay and that we create brand loyalty. You stay there and you trade up to a new mower in Husqvarna. So I think it's about that.
Good. And my question to you, Johan, what will be the next product range that will take this curve?
Yeah, what we've talked today is the residential robotics. Only we have, of course, also a lot of work done in the professional segment of green space management, so handling large fleet of products, including mowers. But the very interesting thing is also the more sharing economy and all the handheld products we have, to offer those as that you can go and rent, and then they needs to be connected, and you can rent your hedge trimmer over the weekend or so. So products that you use seldomly, that you don't need to own. You can rent them rather. That's, I think, is an interesting next step for connected products.
Good. Any questions from the audience? Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.